It seems like we're a part of like this giant never-ending cycle of getting knocked back into the Stone Age and then rebuilding to a new version of complex society.
What if a looming natural disaster beneath one of America's most cherished national parks is being kept from the public? In Joe Rogan reveals Yellowstone National Park has shut down after hundreds of earthquakes hit. Rogan explores alarming seismic activity threatening Yellowstone, suggesting a potential government cover-up. He raises crucial questions about accountability and the implications of withholding vital information, as the park's closure could foreshadow a catastrophic supervolcanic eruption.
Yellowstone's gonna blow, we're gonna get hit by an asteroid, and we might nuke ourselves too.
Sure.
Like all that stuff is real too, so that's
Yes.
all on the table.
Join us as we delve into Rogan's revelations and their profound impact on our understanding of democracy and disaster preparedness. Seismic activity and government cover-up. Joe Rogan's discussion on the shutdown of Yellowstone National Park in light of recent seismic activity underscores a critical moment in the conversation about government transparency and public safety. He suggests that hundreds of earthquakes could indicate a looming disaster, potentially a supervolcanic eruption, while implying that authorities may be withholding crucial information from the public. Rogan raises alarms about the implications of such a cover-up, questioning the accountability of government officials and the safety of millions of visitors and local residents. His concerns highlight the broader effects of misinformation on trust in institutions and the potential for societal unrest. The economic impact of Yellowstone's closure on local communities adds urgency to the situation, emphasizing the need for clarity and honesty from those in power. As the narrative unfolds, Rogan's insights challenge listeners to consider the balance between disaster preparedness and the public's right to know, marking an essential discussion in the context of environmental risks and governmental responsibility. In the shadow of Yellowstone National Park, a simmering unease grows amidst the breathtaking landscapes and vibrant ecosystems that have long captivated visitors. Recent discussions have ignited public interest and concern, particularly fueled by Joe Rogan's startling revelations regarding the park's abrupt closure due to unprecedented seismic activity. Imagine this: hundreds of earthquakes rattling beneath the surface, stirring whispers of a potential catastrophic eruption that could transform not only the park, but also the lives of countless individuals in the surrounding regions. The grandeur of Yellowstone, with its iconic geysers and rich wildlife, now stands overshadowed by a creeping anxiety that envelops both locals and tourists. Rogan's commentary delves into a narrative that hints at a darker truth lurking beneath the surface: government secrecy. He implies that key figures within the U.S. government have been aware of these increased seismic risks for far too long, opting to conceal this critical information to prevent widespread panic among the populace. This suggestion raises alarm bells, casting shadows over the very institutions designed to protect public safety. Could it be that the government prioritizes maintaining control over public perception and order over transparency? The possibility that those in power may choose to withhold life-altering information for the sake of calm raises profound ethical questions about governance and public trust. This unsettling thought leads us to contemplate the staggering implications of such a cover-up. If true, it indicates a willingness to keep vital information hidden, potentially putting millions of lives at risk. The closure of Yellowstone, a national treasure that draws millions of visitors each year, adds an urgent dimension to this unfolding story. As visitors and locals alike grapple with uncertainty, the truth about the seismic activity remains obscured, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and fear. What else might be concealed from the public eye, and at what cost? The implications of this narrative extend far beyond a mere national park. They compel us to question the motivations of government officials, the validity of Rogan's claims, and the balance between safety and transparency in times of crisis. Are we witnessing a deliberate strategy to manage public response, Or is it a genuine oversight born out of the complexities of crisis management? As conversations swirl and awareness grows, the dialogue surrounding government accountability and the public's right to know intensifies, shining a spotlight on the very fabric of our democracy. In this moment of uncertainty, it becomes imperative for citizens to demand clarity, challenge the status quo, and hold those in power accountable for their actions or inactions. The fate of Yellowstone, and potentially the safety of millions, hangs in the balance as we navigate this treacherous terrain of information and trust. Implications for democracy. Rogan's exploration of the potential government cover-up surrounding Yellowstone's seismic activity invites us to delve deeper into the troubling implications for American democracy. Could this situation be symptomatic of a shadow government, an unseen force manipulating political leaders and public perception? This unsettling thought raises significant concerns about the erosion of accountability and transparency in our democratic institutions, shaking the very foundation of trust that democracy relies upon. If the government has indeed concealed information regarding the heightened risk of a catastrophic supervolcanic eruption, we face an unprecedented level of corruption and secrecy. Such actions could endanger millions, including tourists and local residents. The fear of widespread panic in the face of potential disaster complicates the matter. Would citizens still trust their leaders if they believed vital information was withheld? Growing public sentiment suggests that information is often manipulated to maintain a facade of stability, leading to a broader crisis of confidence in our institutions. The notion of a deep state implies that elected officials may not truly control their decisions, while a select group operates outside public scrutiny. This burgeoning distrust, fueled by Rogan's revelations, challenges the foundational principles of democracy and transforms concern into a call for reform and transparency. As the situation evolves, the extent of governmental involvement in this alleged cover-up remains uncertain. The potential consequences of a supervolcanic eruption could lead to widespread devastation, crop failures, and severe disruptions to global trade. In this era of skepticism, Rogan's insights resonate with citizens worried about being kept in the dark about imminent dangers. As we navigate these murky waters, the implications for American democracy become increasingly profound. The urgent need for accountability calls into question the integrity of governance in the face of manipulation by unseen forces. This narrative compels us to engage in a broader discourse about our leaders' responsibilities and the role of citizens in demanding transparency. In tandem with these democratic concerns, we must also address the potential for environmental catastrophe that threatens both local and global stability. The intersection of political intrigue and ecological peril underscores the urgency for informed public discourse and action, advocating for policies that prioritize environmental stewardship and disaster preparedness. Environmental catastrophe risks. As we peer beneath the surface of Yellowstone National Park, the recent seismic activity detected in the region raises urgent concerns about the potential risks of environmental catastrophe. Joe Rogan underscores the alarming implications of these geological shifts, suggesting that they may signal rising magma perilously close to the Earth's surface. The specter of a supervolcanic eruption looms large, heightening the stakes not only for local ecosystems, but also for global environmental stability, as the park's natural wonders could transform into harbingers of disaster. While earthquakes can be alarming in their own right, Rogan suggests they may serve as precursors to something far more catastrophic, a supervolcanic eruption that could unleash immense quantities of ash and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. The consequences of such an event could lead to what scientists term a volcanic winter, drastically lowering global temperatures, disrupting established weather patterns, and triggering widespread agricultural collapse. The ominous potential for food shortages looms large, posing a reality that could reverberate across the globe and spark significant socioeconomic instability. The implications of this potential environmental catastrophe are further complicated by the unsettling notion that the U.S. government may have been aware of these risks for some time. If true, this knowledge and the decision to keep the public uninformed would represent a profound breach of trust, shaking the very foundations of democratic governance. Rogan's commentary hints at a deeper control mechanism within the government, suggesting that certain officials might prioritize maintaining order and control over the public's fundamental right to know about imminent dangers that could threaten their safety. As awareness spreads and more individuals begin to question the official narrative, the potential for public panic escalates. Local economies, already dependent on tourism and agriculture, could face destabilization as fears of an impending eruption prompt mass evacuations and disrupt trade routes. This scenario highlights the delicate balance between environmental hazards and the social, economic, and political dimensions of public trust, underscoring the urgent need for transparent communication from those in power. The risks associated with rising seismic activity at Yellowstone extend far beyond mere geological concerns. They represent an intricate web of environmental hazards and societal challenges. Rogan's insights serve as a stark reminder of our interconnectedness, emphasizing the pressing need for vigilance, effective communication, and accountability from our leaders. As we navigate this unfolding crisis, the question remains, are we prepared to confront the challenges ahead and hold our institutions accountable for their actions or inactions? Moreover, the implications of this crisis are not limited to environmental stability. They extend deeply into the very fabric of our society and economy. As potential disasters loom on the horizon, we must consider how they could reshape our relationships with nature, our economic structures, and our collective resilience in the face of adversity. The urgency of this situation compels us to engage in a meaningful dialogue about our responsibilities as citizens and the need for proactive measures to ensure a sustainable and secure future. Societal and economic consequences. The potential closure of Yellowstone National Park due to escalating seismic activity presents far-reaching societal and economic consequences that ripple well beyond the park's borders. Joe Rogan emphasizes the gravity of the situation, detailing how the escalating risks could lead to significant economic hardships for local communities that rely heavily on tourism. With millions flocking to the park each year, its closure would trigger a cascade of job losses, business closures, and a dramatic downturn in the local economy. As mass evacuations unfold in response to imminent threats, nearby towns and cities may find themselves overwhelmed. Strained resources and overcrowded conditions could provoke a breakdown of trust in government institutions. When citizens perceive that vital information about the risks was withheld, the resulting discontent could escalate into anti-government sentiment, protests, or even violence as communities express their frustration and anger over perceived negligence. On a geopolitical scale, the potential ramifications of a supervolcanic eruption at Yellowstone could be equally severe. Rogan notes that such an event would not only affect the United States, but would have global repercussions as volcanic ash and gases disrupt weather patterns, leading to widespread food shortages. The interdependence of global food supply chains means that crises in one region could trigger ripple effects in others, further destabilizing international relations. In the face of a major disaster, the military would likely play a crucial role in coordinating response efforts, managing resources, and maintaining order. However, this intervention could lead to the militarization of society, raising concerns about the erosion of civil liberties. Citizens may find themselves under increased surveillance or restrictions, further fueling distrust toward the government and heightening societal anxiety. The credibility of scientists and the media may also come under scrutiny. If the government is perceived to have failed in communicating transparently about the risks, public confidence in experts could erode. This deterioration of trust could foster the spread of misinformation and conspiracy theories, creating a cycle of panic and unrest as individuals seek alternative narratives to comprehend the unfolding situation. The potential closure of Yellowstone National Park and the associated risks of seismic activity could catalyze a complex interplay of societal, economic, and geopolitical challenges. Rogan's insights illuminate the potential for widespread disruption, underscoring the critical need for effective communication and transparency from government and scientific authorities. As these issues evolve, the interplay between environmental hazards and societal resilience will shape the future of affected communities and their relationship with governmental institutions. In this context, the importance of public trust becomes paramount, as a breakdown in communication can exacerbate existing vulnerabilities. Public trust and communication breakdown. Amid the swirling discussions surrounding Yellowstone National Park, Joe Rogan's insights highlight a crucial issue: the potential breakdown of public trust in experts and government officials when vital information is withheld. This erosion of trust can yield dire consequences, particularly in emergency situations. Rogan emphasizes that if the public begins to doubt the accuracy or motives behind official communications, they may disregard evacuation orders during crises, placing lives at risk. The closure of Yellowstone, a significant part of America's natural heritage, due to hundreds of earthquakes, brings not only economic repercussions for local businesses reliant on tourism, but also psychological implications for the broader populace. The unsettling perception that their environment is no longer stable can engender anxiety, fear, and societal shifts as individuals grapple with the fragility of their everyday lives. This turmoil often drives people toward coping mechanisms such as conspiracy theories, complicating the landscape of public discourse. The scientific community finds itself in a challenging position amidst this climate of distrust. While scientists have long monitored Yellowstone's volcanic activity and aim to communicate risk accurately, Rogan's assertions regarding a potential government cover-up inject uncertainty into the conversation. The growing skepticism toward experts, fed by narratives of hidden information, threatens to fracture the political landscape, with individuals increasingly turning to alternative explanations and sources of information. Rogan's podcast serves as a catalyst for this expanding mistrust, emphasizing the critical importance of effective communication during crises. If citizens become convinced that the government is withholding critical information about natural disasters, the resulting breakdown in communication could have catastrophic outcomes. A society plagued by skepticism may fail to heed warnings or evacuate, leading to unnecessary loss of life and greater chaos in the face of disaster. As these dynamics unfold, the urgent need for transparency and accountability from both governmental and scientific institutions becomes apparent. Rogan's commentary serves as a reminder that trust is the bedrock of a functioning democracy. When citizens feel misled or ignored, the social contract between the government and the public begins to fray, leaving a void that can be filled by fear, anger, and conspiracy. The narrative surrounding Yellowstone National Park and the potential for government cover-up encapsulates a critical moment in the evolution of public trust and communication. Rogan's insights resonate deeply in an era where skepticism toward authority is on the rise. As we confront the challenges posed by environmental hazards and societal resilience, the path forward hinges on effective communication, transparency, and a renewed commitment to rebuilding trust between citizens and their leaders. The quest for truth. As the discussions surrounding Yellowstone National Park and its seismic activity intensify, it becomes clear that the quest for truth is at the heart of this narrative. Joe Rogan's insights provide a thought-provoking lens through which we can examine the potential implications of government cover-ups, the fragility of public trust, and the complex interplay between environmental hazards and societal dynamics. The specter of a supervolcanic eruption looms large, not only as a geological concern, but as a symbol of the deeper issues we face as a society. The erosion of trust in government institutions and experts poses significant challenges for democratic governance, urging us to reevaluate our relationship with authority and the information we receive. As citizens, we must demand transparency, accountability, and honesty from our leaders. In the face of uncertainty, it is crucial to engage in informed discussions, question narratives, and seek the truth. The fate of Yellowstone and the well-being of its surrounding communities rests not only on geological forces, but also on our collective ability to navigate the complexities of governance, trust, and communication. Ultimately, the quest for truth in the context of Yellowstone serves as a microcosm of broader societal challenges, reminding us that our resilience depends on our capacity to confront difficult realities and work together for a safer, more informed future. As we move forward, let us embrace the responsibility to advocate for transparency and vigilance, ensuring that the truth prevails in an ever-changing world. As we conclude our deep dive into Joe Rogan's revelations about the Yellowstone National Park shutdown, it's clear that the implications of these seismic activities extend far beyond just the park itself. How do you feel about the government's transparency regarding natural disasters? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. If you found this discussion intriguing, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more captivating stories and insights.